Hello everybody, welcome back or welcome to my channel. Merry Christmas! First of all, it is Christmas when this is posted. This is a Hawks X Listener Christmas by actually a Hawksif on Wattpad. There's going to be 5 videos posted today, all from the same wonderful person, and it's all for Christmas. Heck yes! I hope you all enjoy this video, and I hope you enjoy this lovely day today. If you celebrate Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, anything else, I hope you will also have an amazing day. I know Hanukkah has already passed, so yeah, but I hope you all still have an amazing day. I hope you all have an amazing day every single day. Anyways, let's get into the video. You were gently woken up by a shift on the bed. The morning light streamed onto your face, causing you to squint and bring your hand up to guard your eyes. The shifting of the bed continued as you gained awareness of your surroundings. You looked over to see a small figure wiggling its way in between you and your sleeping husband. Your youngest daughter made her way up to your face, placing one of her tiny hands onto your cheek. "Hello," she called. You smiled and wrapped your arms around her, bringing her down to give her a small kiss on the cheek. "Look at you, early birdie." She giggled as her little wings flared out in surprise. One of her feathers fell from the rest of them, landing gently on Keiko's face. He swatted the feather away, something he'd grown used to since your little one began growing them. "Daddy, wake up!" she called as she slung her body over Keiko's. He groaned slightly at the sudden weight of her. She giggled as he brought his arm around to pull her over onto his side of the bed. "Where's your sister?" he asked when she stopped giggling. She snuggled into Keiko's arms and sighed. "Sleeping," she responded. Keiko sighed as well. I'll go wake her up so we can unwrap gifts," you told him. He nodded his head as he closed his eyes again, tightly holding on to the younger child to keep her from wiggling too much. Eventually, she wiggled out of his arms and rushed out the room with you close behind her. You made your way to the slightly older child's room and opened the door. Your younger child rushed in and jumped up onto the bed, shaking the older child awake. "Wake up, it's Christmas!" she said loudly. The older one pushed the younger one off the bed. She giggled and flapped her wings slightly before hitting the ground. You laughed under your breath, walking towards the two. You grabbed the small girl out of the air and placed her on your hip as you slightly hit the older one on the head. "Stop pushing your head, sister," you scolded. "Now let's go, otherwise Dad will open the gifts without us." The older one shot up from her spot in bed and tossed the covers aside. She was always very competitive with Keiko. It turned into a little game the two of them had, usually being how they bonded. The oldest one dashed out of the room and into the living area. You followed behind them, letting your younger one onto the floor. She dashed behind her older sister quickly. Once you made your way into the living room, you saw Keiko sitting down on the couch with the girl sitting right in front of the brightly lit Christmas tree. "You girls are getting too excited for it being this early," Keiko said. You plopped down onto the couch beside him as he spoke to the girls. "It's Christmas, Dad," the older one excitedly told him. He nodded his head as he spoke, wrapping an arm tightly around your waist as you leaned into him. "Yes, but it's also 7 a.m., he reasoned. You only smiled as the two argued over whether it was too early or not. You giggled. "Guys, can we open the gifts?" the younger of the two asked. You laughed slightly as Keiko shifted to stand up, giving your leg a squeeze as he did. He made his way over to the tree and got comfortable in front of the girls to hand out the gifts. He looked through them as he could find one for each of them. Once he found them, he handed them each to the girls. They happily tore into the gifts. They each squealed happily and showed each other what they got. Despite the arguments and the pushing each other off of things, they were very close with each other. It made your heart feel happy knowing your children were close to each other. It reminded you that even if something ever happened with you and Kago, they would still have each other. They began opening the rest of their gifts, squealing and sharing as they did. You would come They would come hug you tightly a few times, thanking you profusely for the gifts they'd wanted, then running over to Kago to do the same. Kago looked exhausted, but the look in his eyes told you he wouldn't want to be anywhere else today. After the girls opened all their gifts, you told them to help clean up all the wrapping paper before playing with their new items. They quickly had all the trash picked up before you could even get up to help. As they took all their new toys to their rooms, Keiko walked towards you with a gift in his hands. He plopped onto the couch beside you, looking down as he did. "What's that?" you asked him. He looked up at you for a moment before handing it to you. You looked at him in shock. Most years the two of you would agree not to get each other anything, since money was usually tight, even though he's a pro hero. As you thought back to the year the two of you had been doing really well for yourselves, hero work was picking up again for Kago, and your work was going well too. Guilt watched over you as you realized you didn't buy him anything. Somehow he seemed to understand that you were feeling and rubbed your back gently. "I know we don't normally do gifts, but I really wanted you to have this," he told you. You looked up at him, still feeling the weight of guilt in your chest. Your gaze fell back onto the gift in your lap. You gently began unwrapping the gift and taking the lid of the box off, anxious to see what it was. Your heart warmed at the sight of the items in your lap. Inside the box were old baby items. You took them out one by one to look at them. At the bottom of the box was two pictures with their own frames. One was a photo of you and your oldest daughter, and the other was a picture of the whole family when your oldest was only just a toddler and your youngest was a baby. You and Kago looked so different in the picture. You looked younger, less stressed in some aspects, happier. It took a lot to get from there to here. Around the time of this picture being taken, you thought all of these items had been lost in storage or thrown out by the people who made you move from the last place. You generally thought you wouldn't see any of this stuff again. "Keiko, where did you find all of this?" you asked him. He scratched the back of his neck and he took in a deep breath. "I went to our old town the other day and picked some stuff up from old friends. Decided to clean up some of our storage stuff there," he explained. You listened carefully as you stared down at the pictures and baby items. "It took a lot of digging, but I found them." You smiled. You placed the pictures into your lap and brought your hand up to rest on Kago's neck. You brought him into a kiss. It was a gentle one to let him know you were grateful for his efforts in finding the lost items. "Thank you. I love you so much," you said as you rested your forehead onto his. "I love you so much more, baby bird."